Hello, welcome to Ball Street. We're back after the completion of Group B in Euro 2016. England drew 0-0 with Slovakia and Wales turned on the star to smash Russia 3-0. We watched both games simultaneously in the hope that we'd have loads of incredible videos to show you from the England camp side of things. And we got more enjoyment out of the Wales game ultimately, didn't we?
100%. I mean, I ended up watching the Wales game. It was just more interesting.
Yeah.
I just knew that was going to happen. I don't know what it is with England. Like, we just don't seem to turn up when we should. And because I'm not saying like England are a massive nation, but it's like we're not as good as we were, but we still are. We've still got these great players. We've got players that play in the best league in the world, and I don't understand why they don't seem to be able to perform.
That team, Ped, regardless of what, because I disagree with that as good as we were, because when have England actually been that good, to be fair? But, you know, the players out on that pitch, you know, the performance levels from a load of players was actually really good, but you just need someone to stick the ball in the back of the net.
They're not a team, though, are they? I mean, for me, they're still not a team. That was, even more so tonight, that was a lot of players shoehorned into a side. And I just don't get it. I mean, we've been watching the Wales game, and Wales, what was fantastic about Wales was it's all built round Gareth Bale, like we said, but that helped create space for other players tonight, and they took advantage of it against a really, really poor Russian side. But they really had a go as well. They really had a go with them tonight. Whereas England, and I've said this a few times, I've been watching that football for 2 years. It's just pass, 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 lose the ball. And it's poor, and they don't make enough chances. Yeah. And you can have good strikers on the pitch, but there's no one clinical enough because it's all slow. Yeah. They slowed the game down. Watching a bit of Wales, it was dead quick. It was dead zippy. It was just like whether England are just like we don't want to be seen as this England long ball side, or I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Whether they haven't got enough pace in the team, I don't know, but. They're not good enough, and they won't get past the quarterfinals. It was a similar
example, but it was without being like I told you so, whatever. It was exactly what we said. If England don't get the goal early, they struggle because all of a sudden it gets really flat. And we were sat there at half time. We were buzzing. I thought again some of the shit's been put in. The footy in general was quite exciting. Plus Wales were great as well. Yeah. And for the second half, even though I think England were better in this second half than they were in the second half against Russia, it still ended up in exactly the same situation. 15 minutes to go. There's no coherent plan past that. Just get more attacking players on the pitch and hope somebody does something.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, Ped's made the point. It is just players shoehorned into a team. The last team was 1966. I mean, there was that thing on the BBC, wasn't there, a few weeks ago? And it was sort of, there were players which weren't the best players in England. Like Peter was saying, like Nobby Stiles wasn't not the best player in that position, but he was the best player for the team. Yeah. And it's a case of England just need to build a team. There just needs to be a complete overhaul of our system. Yeah. And it's as simple as that. Yeah. It just needs to be overhauled.
I thought it was telling, Chris, that Ped talks about it not being a team as such, but I think the players who played together played well together, and a great example being the Liverpool players in that regard. Klein, Henderson, Sturridge, Lallana linked up, I thought, really well.
Yeah, they did, and I think that's been one of the things that Hodgson's done really well as England manager, and I think that's probably the only thing that he's done well as England manager, to be fair. Like, Henderson and Klein, for me, were the two sort of shining lights. That right-hand side looks so much more dangerous than anywhere else on the pitch. And look, Liverpool players on a whole looked really good. Adam Lallana was brilliant. I thought he rested him by taking him off. I thought he rested Sturridge. I think they forced their way into his thinking for the next game.
Well, that was actually going to be the next question. If you're watching, let us know by tweeting at Ball Street or by leaving it in the comments alongside the video. Is anyone from that performance who maybe wouldn't have been in Hodgson's thinking, who you think has played themselves in contention for the quarterfinals? Get your boys' opinion, Ped. Do you reckon anyone?
I just want to go back to what Chris was saying there. It's about pairings. He's got the pairing of Kane and Vardy, Kane and Ali. I mean, he's not using it. Yeah. He's not. That's what the team, in effect, should be built around. And he's not using it because he's too worried. I don't know whether he's too worried about upsetting other players or feels like... that was a great point about 1966. We had arguably one of the best strikers in the world, and we left him out because it never fitted into the system. And we have done that a few times since. 96, we've done the same. Yeah. Every time England have had good sides, it's because it's the team and not because of the players. And I don't know whether he's got the best players in the team, and I don't know whether the system works either. It's all a bit of a mess.
But it's Hodgson through and through. And again, I don't keep harking back to it, but you know, because we only ultimately had half a season of him as our manager. But we always said when he was in charge was Hodgson is a guy who he's got a threshold, he's got a limit to what he can achieve. And as a club manager, we used to say it was around the 50-point mark. But he didn't have the ability to drag a team up beyond that. And you know, great managers do that, and I think that's where that England team is. Sorry, Louis. If they've got, we had the golden generation, and that team had 11 basically borderline world class players. England don't have that now.
But that's why you've got to be a team.
But look at Northern Ireland. Look at Wales. I mean, the Irish hasn't been the greatest tournament, but they've got a bit of that going for them. Iceland are doing the same thing. Hungary are doing it. Whereas England should be able to get better than the sum of the parts. And I think whether it's arrogance that they think they're better than they are, I don't know. But
I've got a comment here, mate.
Go on, Chris.
Desmond Hutchinson says, "The fuck are we here for? Do they know we're in the comments right now?"
That's a really good point. Yeah. I mean, but if they're in the comments, why are we here?
It's a good point. Salty Sack says it's embarrassing finishing behind Wales.
It's not embarrassing finish. Wales have got one of the best players in the tournament, and what they do is they look after him and they work to their strengths. And all those players are humble enough to know that they've got a world-class player.
Can I just say it wasn't? I am just the messenger. I feel like it was my point. It wasn't me that said it. It was Salty Sacks.
But on the same token, those Welsh players are humble enough to know ours are not, and plus we don't have a world-class player in our team.
Well, it's true. But look at Wales tonight, though. Their two best players, and arguably even three, to say, if you count Joe Allen in there, have turned up and delivered.
I don't think anyone was counting Joe Allen until.
But he is. He's probably their third best. He's probably their third best.
Yeah, here's a good one. Here's a good one because I think it probably sums you up, Paul. Dave Loosemore. Once upon a time, I was hopeful that England would win something. Then came a time when it bothered me when England lost. Now I find it all so dull to watch that I couldn't really care either way.
That was literally like my thought.
It's so true, guys.
Yeah, no, it's right. Well, no, I wasn't even, but I got so bored of having my heart broken every 2 years by the same stuff happening over and over again that I became incredibly jaded to it.
The reason I think England's very divisive is because it's not a football thing. It's a mentality thing. They appoint yes men, and it's nonsense. And I think we find that we see through that bollocks straight away.
Again, it's just for me. It comes back to the Hodgson thing again. Is that if he's the best that England have got to offer in terms of it, I had to go and give it to a young, passionate coach.
Gary Neville.
Give it to Gary Neville, or go out and get a top class foreign manager. And I know everyone goes, "Oh, you don't want another foreigner." Well, you know what? Sack off his xenophobia for a start, because ultimately Fabio Capello had the best win rate of any England manager ever when he got booted. And then but Sven wasn't a great appointment, to be fair. But I'd be going out and getting someone like a Rafa Benitez or something for a major tournament, a guy who knows how to deliver in cup football or whatever. But look, we're talking like that out. I can't imagine what this conversation is going to be like next Monday.
But if I was to play devil's advocate here about Roy Hodgson, I agree with everything you're saying, but just to be the devil's advocate, if you're talking about someone who can deliver in cup football, Fulham, he took them all the way to the final, didn't he?
He did.
So he still took them there. I'm playing devil's advocate. I agree.
Steve McLaren did with Middlesbrough as well.
But this is the problem.
Steve McLaren should be getting another.
The problem is the appoint men who are not big enough to deal with big egos, so they're almost terrified of the players they're managing.
Right, listen, why are these here, Chris?
Anuj Chanda, England never have a good team, they always had good individuals. Flano's in the comments, John Flano. I'll tell you what, he's dropping bombs as well. There were flashes of brilliance, but shit 60% of the time. And I don't know whether this is true, I've not had time to quickly work it out, but Oliver Morgan says yes, France in the quarterfinals if we get through. Obviously, France are going to have to get through.
No, that's not true.
It's true. Then it's the second round next, and then the quarterfinals.
Are you kidding me?
No,
of course there's
round of 16. Round of 16.
Oh God Almighty!
It's a bigger tournament.
24 teams.
It's more football.
Yeah, no, but it's yeah. But what I mean is when it's fine.
If you're talking about...
The summer won't go any quicker.
I just want to get back to club footy. Yeah, no, okay, that's fine. Good on them. Round of 16. Yay. Thank you,
know what?
Michelle
I've
Platini.
got something I want to say about England, and I've said this many times and stuff, right? There's just no identity. There hasn't been an identity to an England side since Glenn Hoddle managed them.
Yeah.
When you looked at a side and went, that's a Glenn Hoddle side, that's an England side. Why is that?
If we're talking about... I know
Well, yeah. Well,
Glenn Hoddle did that. I know this is me, did not be biased, but Glenn Hoddle did that to Chelsea. Glenn Hoddle turned Chelsea into... He began the process of what we are now. He signed those players like the Rude.
Bullshit.
No, he did.
Bullshit. He played passing football.
No, but he started it. He started what we want.
And you parked the bus.
I'm just quoting my dad here. My dad's
full
saying,
of shit.
Right, he was watching. He saw. Just shut up, Chris. All right. He saw
not even your
players. He saw players just boot balls left, right, and centre, and then he saw Chelsea start turning into this team which did pass the ball, which did move about. We do pass the ball. We park the bus, but we pass the ball more. We did that this season. It didn't work.
Every team has to pass the ball.
No, but you're not getting what I'm trying to get at. I'm saying Glenn Hoddle is a good manager, and you know he does.
You were trying to back me up. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry.
I'm trying to make a good point.
I can't
but, you know,
put the club bias to one side.
England it's all slow. There's no pace to any of the game they play. They might as well get the full-backs as wide as they can and whip in crosses. Get Kane in there to knock them in or knock them down and have midfield runners.
There's like a sense of embarrassment, isn't there, that England can't be that.
Has any
like
team...
you've got to be Spain for
Has
some
any
reason,
team won like the Euros or the World Cup with the right-back being their best player consistently throughout the tournament and the only great attacking spark?
Yeah, no.
France 98, pretty close.
Sure am. No, Ben.
No way of knowing.
No, mate.
No way of knowing. Yeah, there you go. So, potentially then, we'll be back here next Monday because England will be facing off against the second place from Group F. Yeah. Do you reckon they've done that deliberately? Surely that's because it might be an easier... No, he's not that clever.
So you're insinuating that UEFA want England in the tournament longer than they need to be?
It could possibly be a Rooney-Ronaldo thing, but this time Ronaldo comes back to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, no. I'd be interested to know, though, because who people would want, let us know in the comments, actually, which of the... Because it's very, very tightly matched, the old Group F at the minute. Hungary top on 4 points. Everyone else is on the other two, Portugal.
Yeah, if you come over to me, I've got it on the screen.
I'd love Iceland.
Hungary top on 4 points, Iceland on 2 points, Portugal on 2 and Austria on 1. Now, the narrative with Portugal is obviously Cristiano Ronaldo's not playing well, blah, blah, blah. The narrative with Iceland is little old Iceland. What's the narrative with Hungary?
Zoltan Gera comes back to
the old.
By the time we play them,
the old Giants.
By the time we play them, we'll know which way we voted in Europe, and we'll know whether they're going to come over and rape and pillage us, or we're just going to laugh at them.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. There's so many people, I imagine, back at Ball Street head office who were just doing this.
But I didn't see the way
it's all going so well.
See the way I didn't pick a side, though.
Yeah,
I didn't pick a side.
Yeah. You didn't.
No,
we don't use the R word on this this show.
Relegation.
Absolutely, yeah. We're not Villa fans on anymore, do we? Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on that. Who would you like to see England face? Have you had any comments in at all, or are you just
tons,
still
mate?
reeling from?
No, do you know what?
I don't want to see his face.
Ped, just stop talking, darling, just for a little bit.
Yeah. Just
Aaron Chambers on Twitter. Wilshere was shit tonight.
He was.
At Mr. B Leicester, it's deserved. Hodgson is a fool. When I asked anyone got any thoughts on it. And do you know what? Loads of people just liking the fact that we drew 0-0 and I put the score out. Just loads of likes.
Good on you. Well done.
Maybe you were all watching Game of Thrones and just I was flicked on by accident.
And the Crisp's a good one, actually.
The Wilshere thing's an interesting one because I think of everyone who played, I think he came out the worst of the players who were given their opportunity tonight.
He was rubbish.
It's just backing up the point of a lot of football fans, apart from Arsenal fans, who are saying Wilshere shouldn't be in that squad.
Yeah.
Wilshere should be in there full stop.
Wilshere is a good footballer.
He's a very good footballer.
When he gets a run of games, but again, he's been shoehorned into the squad because he's a good player. Other countries wouldn't have it.
No.
They look at like the likes of Spain and look like of France, who've just gone, no, you're not in the best 23. You're not coming. France haven't took their best striker for completely non-football reasons. They've just gone, this is the line, and you've gone over it. We get Wilshere in, who is a very good player when he plays, but he's played something like 30 minutes this season,
He
and
started-
it showed tonight. It showed, and he won't get that in the tournament. He won't get enough time to prove it in the tournament.
And actually, like I said, of the players who got it, I thought Henderson took his opportunity as well as he could have done. He looked knackered by the end of that game, which is fair enough. Klein did okay. Burton was all right, wasn't he? Although didn't really do a great deal.
Bertrand's the player.
Vardy looked good. Sturridge looked good.
If Rose gets injured, Bertrand is just a
I
solid
thought
backup.
Vardy was a bit of a letdown tonight, if I'm honest. I thought it wasn't his game because they sat really deep. But I also didn't think he made a nuisance of himself enough and didn't get in enough people faces to create openings for other people. I thought the subs were abysmal as well. You know, you mentioned the likes of Henderson, who hasn't played much anyway. He gets on, and after like 17 minutes, that's when you should be looking at him thinking, right, we'll take him off. Yeah. He's in a really important place in the pitch. You know, he's helping create things and make things happen.
It's one of those decisions. I mean, again, Chris, you reckon it was protecting the likes of Lallana and Sturridge, which is fair enough, I guess. But Sturridge is the kind of guy, right at the end of the game, toward the end of him, before he came off, he was on the shoulder, that ball comes over the top and he nearly gets on the end of it. That's what you do with Lallana if you want to protect him. You put him up front, and all he's got to do is make those little moves, but instead you bring in Rooney on in those situations. I don't know.
What really annoys me? What really annoys me?
Go on. What one thing really annoys you?
Is it plain crisps?
Plain crisps is up there. But and it's something you've just said. Hodgson will be made up with that, right? Yeah. We've gone through, we're second, we're playing someone, right? But he's not thinking...
We've not at top four.
But he's not thinking who we play after that. He's not thinking how that affects our path to the final.
I think if we'd have got first place, we could have avoided Spain or Germany if they win their things until the semis.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
but we're not going to get to the semis.
If they get through the next game, which they should.
Let's keep the positivity.
No, I'm saying if they get through the next game, which they should, then there's a good chance they'll face France in the quarterfinals. France are flying. They're home. You know, we all know that. He should be devastated that he hasn't won that game tonight. He should be devastated he hasn't won a group that consists of England, Wales, Russia and Slovakia. Yeah. He should be devastated. And I've seen him on TV, all smiles, and he should be
It was a tremendous
devastated because ultimately that you know, you're going to face a harder team earlier, and he's a tit.
What do you think of Roy Hodgson? Look, are we being overly negative? Should we be more positive? I do listen to TalkSport periodically, and I do know there are actually people who really like him and blah blah blah. So do let us know that in the comments. Chris, have you got anything else you'd like to add? Before we wrap up.
Yeah, Seamus Hart. Well, they did walk the ball around for 90 minutes. Yeah. Every player taking an extra touch, afraid to make a mistake. Yeah, that kind of summed up the performance.
Yeah, we said this, isn't it? You've got guys who. You lose that exuberance, you lose that enthusiasm. You know what I mean? You only get one crack at like, come on, I'm coming in and buzzing. I'm just going to run on adrenaline and do stuff.
That's what you're saying before. You make wholesale changes, and everyone has to take that extra touch. Where if you bring 4 in, let's say you bring 4 in for a game like this, you've got plenty of players who are already bedded into the tournament, and you've got like 4 who can make a little difference, change things up, freshen. But suddenly, when you make a wholesale changes, you've changed your whole of your midfield, and suddenly everything gets slowed down, and in that towards the end there, it was a crawling pace, and that's the problem.
On a positive though, it's not worked, has it? But ultimately, England have progressed out the group, which they had to do. They've done that, and we've seen that not happen in tournaments gone by. They've given minutes to a number of the players there who needed some game time. As you said, you know they're much sharper. I think they're in a better position to be able to say, well, whoever they've got in the round of 16 game, well, they've probably now got 16 players who they could choose from, and you wouldn't be without a dip off and knowing that you're carrying a player trying to get him up to speed anymore. So there you go. There's a positive for you. Have that YouTube. One more comment, Chris, before we go. Just from you.
England are shite like watching Everton.
There you go.
By James Hardwick.
And he's an Evertonian.
To be fair, you did say that.
I've seen that for weeks.
Yeah. There you go. Are we being too downbeat? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the bullshit YouTube I'm putting there. Like
I'll tell you, if we weren't watching the Wales game at the same side, I'd have probably thought that was a half-decent performance from England.
I think the other way around. I think
Wales made us look shit, mate, because they went and attacked the team that they were playing.
Yeah.
And we didn't by comparison
because
to them.
Because they knew they had to win. They went for it. Yeah. Whereas England were like, it's Sam, we'll get a draw and go through.
The only reason I disagree on that is just in terms of the emotional feel of it, because I was watching 2 games of football at the same time. I feel slightly more complete as a human being because I had some like things to cheer and celebrate. Whereas it's only when I got to the ending, I didn't really have anything to cheer in. So yeah, maybe if I'd been more analytical.
It just made me feel more depressed because I just realised how much better of a team Wales are.
But again, let's get back to it. There's still to come from. There's still good players and people with minutes under their belts.
You can just be safe in the knowledge that there's a conversation in the comments about whether Sherwood would make a good England manager.
And on that bombshell, let us know would Tim Sherwood make a good England manager? And then if you put yes, think about your life. Anyway, yeah, subscribe to the Bullshit YouTube channel. We're normally here doing normal social club stuff. We talk about the biggest issues in football every single week. But we'll be back with more live shows next week as England are playing then. In the meantime, check out more. Robbie is over in France. We'll doubtless a thrilling video full of amazing people. That'll be up shortly again on the Bullshit YouTube channel. And go and check out everything as well. Going on there on Instagram and on the Ball Street Twitter account @Ball Street. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Been a pleasure.
That's all right. No worries. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
Other than the game.
Pez, you all right?
Cheers.
Good. Thanks, Chris. You all right there?
One more comment?
Go on.
Go on.
No, we were gone.
Go on. Are we gone? Are we gone?
No.
Go on.
John O'Fit says, all right, let's wrap it up, then just carries on.
He's not wrong. And we're done. Thanks, Tom.